はい、おはようございます。
おはようございます。
おはようございます。
はい、お
おは
はようござ
ようございます。
います。
おはようございます。
おはようございます。
おはようございます。Just wait for a minute. Okay, I think we can get started now. So we'll begin today's class by discussing the exercise that I'd given. So I received most of your work, and it's very nice to see that effort was being made, and also most of your answers were right. There were some corrections that I'd made for some of you. So please do check them, make the corrections. Try going over the assignment once again with those corrections in mind. Now we'll discuss them in class so that, and later on, maybe the end of today or tomorrow, I'll post the answers also. I've posted the answers for the first assignment, first exercise. Let me call it exercise, just the vowel elongation exercise. I just posted the answers so you can check, all right? Now this one was an exercise on both vowel elongation and syllabic stops. The first one, it has a mix of both hiragana and katakana words. So for the most part, the elongation was all right. I think some of you confused with the elongation of the A sounds and the O sounds. There's that doubt. Do you add A after that sound or do you add E after that sound? If it's O sound elongation, do you add O after it or U after it? Like I said, for the most part, most of the words, for the elongation of an A sound, you will add the kana E after that sound in that word. Okay. For the elongation of an O sound in the word, you will add the kana after that. All right. There are probably only 2 or 3 or 4 words that will make use of O itself for O elongation and A itself for A elongation. So here, most of the words that you see, it's like that. So I just wanted to clarify that. Let's look at the first one. So the first word, ryo, is highlighted. For those of you who haven't done this yet, I'll give you until today to finish it. Usually there's a due date and I'd like all of you to submit it by then so I can get started on the corrections, right? So we can all be on the same page. All right. Ryori. So this is ryo and it says ryo has to be elongated. So how do I do it? Let me write it separately or just change that. Yeah. So after the ryo sound, since it has the O sound, for elongation, what kana will I use? Very good. So it's ryori. Okay, the meanings are there in the original document that I sent across to you all. All right. Ryori. Ryori. What is the meaning of ryori?
Food.
Food, cooking. Yes, it's a noun. Okay, cuisine. It has all of these meanings. Okay, ryori. All right. The second word, is it a hiragana word or a katakana word?
Katakana.
Katakana. For katakana, it's very simply a dash for elongation, right? I know immediately you'll think of using katakana elongation the way you will use it for hiragana, but it's simply a dash, so you don't have to worry about anything. So after which sound do I give the dash?
Pa.
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 Very good. Pa. Okay. And how does that word read?
Apato.
Apato. Apato. Okay. Apato is apartment. Last class we saw departo, department store. Here it is apato is apartment. Okay. The third one, the third word is futo. Futo. Futo.
Small u.
Small u? Why
Small
is
u.
it a small u? It's a normal sized u. Okay. Hu, elongation of a u sound is u itself. So after hu, I add u. And elongation for an O sound in to is again U. So it's hu to. Hu to. Alright, can you all repeat after me? Hu to.
Uto.
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 Yes.
Hu to.
Hu to. So hu to is envelope.
Uto.
Hi. Yes. The next word is a katakana word. So elongation is simple. What do you do? Add a dash after the first highlighted kana, which is te. So together it is tebru. Tebru is table. Table
Tebru.
is
Tebru.
right. Tebru. Tebru. There's also another word for table, which is an original Japanese word. Hiragana, you write it with tsukue, but we'll come to that later, maybe not now. Teburu is also table. The fifth word, hai. Where do I give the elongation? What is the kana that I use?
U.
Correct. Is the right kana. I'll use it after kyo.
Kyo.
Kyo has the O sound, and to elongate O sound, I add u. Benkyo. Hi, benkyo. Benkyo is studies. Benkyo. It's the noun studies. So if you want to ask the question, how is your studies coming along? Benkyo. The next one, sixth one is eigakan. Eigakan. So what is the elongation?
E.
E.
E after A. Very good. So A is the elongation, elongated sound. And I will add E after A to elongate A. Eigakan. Eigakan. The meaning of the word eiga, right? The first part. Eiga means movie. Cinema, movie. Eigakan is a theater, movie theater. Okay. Seventh word. What is the seventh word? It's a katakana word. Can I have everybody read it, please? With the elongation. Read the correct word.
Erubeto.
Once again.
Erebeta.
Erubeto.
Ah.
Erebeta. Erebeta.
Erebeta. Hi,
Yeah.
hi, hi. Okay. E, re, be is elongated. Ta is also elongated. Okay. Erebeta. 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 Okay. Eighth word. This is the special katakana that we looked at in the last class. Okay. So that is the sound that you're supposed to change. What is the sound?
Po.
Poke, right? Yes.
Poke.
Poke. The word is poke. Poke. Fork. So you have the hu. To get the ho sound, you take hu and add the small o next to it. So that gives you ho. Poke. Poke. Okay. Spoon, for example, is spoon. Supoon. Written in katakana. Knife is knife. Knife, written in katakana. Now here you have fork, which is fork. Fork. All right. The ninth word is an adjective. It means to be good at something, to be skilled at something. Okay. What is the word with the elongation? How will you pronounce it?
Chose.
Joes. Very good. Joes. So Jo, G and a small yo is Jo. So how do I elongate it? What kana do I use to elongate Jo? O sound. Very good. I hope this is clear to everybody. If you
Yes.
have doubts, please don't hesitate to ask. Don't think you're far behind and oh, how do I ask this very silly question? It's not. Hi.
Sumimasen sensei. Could you please repeat this one?
The word is Joes. So the first sound Jo. So it's G and a small yo, that is one sound Jo. So that is the sound that is elongated. Since it has the O sound, Jo, you use the kana U for elongation of that sound. So when you pronounce it, it is Jo Z. The second sound, the last sound is z. So it's jozu. いいですか？大丈夫ですか？
Okay.
はい。
ありがとうございます。
はい。
うん。
The 10th word. What is the 10th word?
オール、オール、
What is this kana? The first one?
プ、オール、
Pu.
プ、
Pu, right? Fu with a circle on top is pu. So it's
Pu.
pu, which is elongated. So since it's katakana, it's just a dash. Hi. Puru. Puru is pool, swimming pool. Puru. The last word, it's a hiragana, Japanese word, meaning Sunday. What is the word?
日曜日。日曜日。
日曜日。
Nichiyobi. There's a slight elongation there. It's not nichiyobi, right? There's a small
日曜
one
日。
sound is elongated in this word. So it's nichiyobi. So yo has the O
Yo.
sound. So once again, after yo, you type whatever the kana. Nichiyobi. Repeat after me.
日
Nichiyobi.
曜日。
日曜日。
Hi, Sunday. Now the next one is an exercise on syllabic stop. So again, once again, the kana or the sound that is supposed to be stressed, I've highlighted, boldened. So which means what? This particular exercise, I found that most of you had gotten the placement of the syllabic stop right. You're all typed the ts before the kana that needs to be stressed, which is correct. But they were all on the same size as the other kana. If it's the same size as the other kana, it no longer functions as a syllabic stop. It's a kana, which means you pronounce it. And then the word sounds different, the meaning also becomes very different. It's very important to note that for syllabic stop, you'll always use the small s, whether it is hiragana or katakana, it's always the small size s. When you're writing, of course, you can make it small. When you're typing, how do you do it?
You type an X before typing the command.
Yes, very good. So you type an X first on the keyboard. In English keyboard, you type X and then you type TSU, or L and TSU, X TSU or L TSU. The other thing to do is instead of worrying about each kana, you can just type it, right? It's like this. For instance, what is the first word?
ざ
Zashi.
ざ
Zashi. She is emphasized in this word. So it's zashi, right? So the tsus must come before she. So I can either type X and TSU here and I'll get the small tsu. That's perfectly all right. Or if hi, double S, very good. So ZA, I get za. And then for the SHI, I add a double S, SSHI. So SSHI will automatically give me the she with the syllabic stop in front of it. I personally, when you start typing sentences, you will find that this is easier. Instead of having to type X, TSU, L, TSU each time before this, the stress sound. All right, so you can practice both and see what you're comfortable with. You can go with whatever you're finding easy. The next word, what is the next word?
きっぷ。
Kippu. Very good. Kippu. Once again, pu has u sound, right? You can also remember not to round your lips. It's not very wrong, but just a small. Instead of saying kippu, you can just say kippu.
きっぷ。
Yes, correct. All right. So how do I type this? Can you all tell me? Typing guide.
P and then
PPU.
AI,
Tell me the alphabets. Exactly what alphabets do I type
K-I,
in what order?
K-I,
KI,
PPO.
PPU.
PPU.
P.
U. Very good. Perfect. Kippu. All right. The other way to do it, of course, will be KI. And then now I look at the syllabic stop separately and type that with XTSU. And then I type PU. They're both right, but I find this more quicker. The next word is sripa. Sripa. You will find that the pa is both stressed, it's both emphasized and elongated. Most of you had left out the elongation after the pa. I think it was a small error, right? You missed certain things. So be careful to include that. Elongation is also important to that sound, as much as emphasizing it is. Hi, Sripa. So S-U-R-I
PPA.
PPA. Very good. Now I can, it shows me the options. So I can click on the first one and then, however, instead of going down and changing it from hiragana to katakana each time, I can just type it in hiragana, press space, and it will show. That's easy. Now, kissaten. So where is the syllabic stop in this word?
On the sa. Before sa.
Before the sa. Very good. Before the sound that is stressed. So it's K-I-S-S-A. Sa. S-S-A is the stressed sa. T-E-double-N. So I'm also telling you all how to type. Okay, so do register it. Kissaten. The next word is a katakana word. How do you pronounce this word with the stress, with the syllabic stop?
Bedon.
Beddo. Very good. Beddo. How will I type it?
B-E-double-D-O.
Hi. Don't mind the boldened word, non-boldened, it doesn't matter here. Okay, I'm just typing it. Beddo. B-E-double-D. D-D-O. Stress. Next word. How do you pronounce that?
Cope.
Kop. Kop. Okay, kop. How will I type that now?
K-O-P-P-U.
K-O-P-P-U. Very good. That is in hiragana. So if I press space, you see that there is a line under this word, which means you can still change that word. Okay. So I press space and I can change it to katakana. That's the very first option. There are many options I can choose from. This is the first one. Okay. Now the line is still there, which means you can still continue to type and change that word. If I press enter, I am free of that word. I can go to the next word. I'll tell you more about this as we do sentences also.
Sorry,
So,
ma'am, I have a
kop.
question.
Hi. Yes, Victor-san.
We have not been able to type like this on the Mac. Is there any way you found out?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that question.
I was not able to type in this method on the Mac. Is there any method
Oh,
you
on
found
the
out?
Mac. Yes. Actually, there are a couple of videos that I would like to share with you. I'll do that today after class. I wanted to do it before class, but I
Okay,
didn't find
okay.
the time to. So I'll share those videos. I've got videos for how to type on Mac and on the Android phone. I think Reema-san said you didn't have a laptop to use.
No, I used my husband's laptop.
Yeah, that's what I thought because I'd seen your assignment and I thought, okay, you'd
Yes.
figured out a way to do it. Okay, but I'll send you the link to, it's a YouTube link. It tells
Okay.
you how you can type in Japanese on your phone and on
Okay.
Mac. So I'll share that with you
Thank you.
today. Hi. So here you'll see this syllabic stop. If you're wondering, it is a small tsu. It's not the same size. All right. It might seem like it is, but it's not. It's smaller. The next word is gakko. Gakko. So here again, this kana is stressed. It's highlighted, which means it's stressed. And it is also elongated with the u after it. So how will you pronounce this word, everyone?
Gakko.
Hi,
Gakko.
Gakko. How will I type it now?
G-A-K-K-O-U.
K-K-O. Very
U.
good. U at the end is important for the elongation, right? So the KKO takes care of the emphasis, the syllabic stop when you type, and it has to further be elongated, and therefore you have to add a U after it. Okay, so G-A-K-K-O-U. Don't worry, I'll send this document in Google Classroom so you can check your answers afterwards or go through it whenever you want. The 8th one is a katakana word, borrowed word. Gakko is school. Okay. Gakko is school. The 8th word, what is the 8th word with the syllabic stop? How do you pronounce it?
Machi.
Machi.
Machi. Machi. I think we looked at this word in the last class or whenever we did the concept. Machi. How will I type this out?
M
M-A-C-C-H-I.
C C H I.
C-C-H-I. Very good. M-A-C-C-H-I. The C-H-I, to stress, you add another C before the C-H-I. C-C-H-I. Then you get the syllabic stop before the kana chi. Okay, but I have to change this to katakana. The last word is asatte. Asatte is day after tomorrow. The day after tomorrow is asatte. This particular word has syllabic stops. I picked it. How do I type it?
A-S-A-T-T-E.
A-S-A-T-T-E. Very good. A-S-A-T-T-E. T-E becomes T-T-E if you have to stress that sound.
What does it
Okay.
mean?
Asatte is the day after tomorrow.
Thank you.
So any questions? If there's any questions about how do you type the small, so I've shared the typing manual with you in classroom. So you can always check that and also ask me questions whenever. So I hope this is all right. Pronunciation, is it okay? Any questions with how to pronounce any word? If you haven't done this, the idea is I'd like you all to have done the exercise before I discuss it in class. So it's not new for you. I'm not giving you the answers. You're merely cross-checking your answers. That is the best way to do these things. Okay. So please do try to send in your work before on the due date. So we can discuss in class. For the most part, I will be discussing most of the work in class. Unless there is something and I can't, then I'll post the answers and you can get back to me with your questions. We'll see how that goes slowly. All right,
One
if you
doubt
haven't-
actually.
Yes.
One doubt. How to type elongation in katakana?
Elongation in katakana is you have the key on the top next to the numbers in your keyboard. You have the hyphen.
Yeah, okay.
Hi. The underscore, I think it has both hyphen and underscore.
Yeah, it has both actually.
Yeah, that is the.
I got that.
Yes. Hi. Okay. So we'll move on to the next thing to do. So today I said we'd be starting grammar, sentences, basic sentences. So I would like you all to open your textbooks to page number 6, I think. I have an old edition, so sometimes the page numbers can be different, but yes, I think you can see here.
Kana textbook.
Yes, not your Kana workbook. The Kana workbook is for your practice from now on, so I won't be asking you to look into it in class anymore. That is just for your practice. You can continue to use it whenever you practice Kana, but now we have graduated to your textbook.
Okay.
Hi, I hope you can see. It says CJAT, Comprehensive Japanese Test 1 textbook.
Okay.
So here after your Kana chart, Hiragana chart, Katakana chart, on the next page you have numbers. Now, I would like all of you to read what is the word that is given next to numbers in Hiragana.
Suji.
Okay. Suji. Right? Everybody?
Page number
6.
6.
Ichi, ni,
Right.
san,
Ichi, ni.
san.
San.
Okay,
Yon.
we'll get to the numbers. We'll get to the numbers in a bit. But yes, everybody, what is numbers in Japanese? The title in Hiragana.
Suji.
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 Right. Suji. So the elongation is in what sound? Su. Very good. Yes. The elongation is in the su sound. Okay. Let me see if I have it on screen so I can share it with you. Hi. Thankfully, I do. Okay, so we're going to be looking at numbers from 1 to 20 today, and then we'll go to the grammar. All right, because we'll come back to numbers in lesson 5, and this start will help you then. You'll have all this time from now until lesson 5 to keep learning your numbers also whenever you get the time. So yes, the word Suji, the thing that you see, the crocodile mouth, the greater than, less than symbol that you see, it's just brackets in Japanese. So don't make the mistake of reading the first one as the hiragana
Yes,
ku.
that's exactly
Okay.
what I was doing, and I was wondering, how did you get that?
Okay, that is, yes, I should have mentioned it. That is just brackets, the greater than, less than. Okay, you have the word inside the brackets. Okay, you'll find that a lot in your textbook. Okay, so let's read the numbers. What is 1?
Ichi.
Ichi.
Ichi. Okay, you can look at your textbook, or you can also look at the screen that I've shared, anything. Ni, oh, I'm sorry, 2. What is 2?
Ni.
Ni.
Ni. Okay, what is 3?
Sun.
Sun.
An. Okay, now 4.
Yon.
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 And what else?
Go.
No. For yon, there are more sounds than yon.
She.
Yes,
She.
you have 3 sounds there, right? You have yon on the top, and then you have yo, and then you have another one, she. I told you the dot between 2 sounds or 2 words means that what comes before the dot is different to what comes after. That's all. It doesn't mean anything else, like a comma or a space or something like that. Okay, it's just to help you distinguish. So there are 3 sounds in total for number 4. Yon. Sometimes yon also gets shortened to yo. That's all that is. Okay, it is yon. But when it comes along with something else, like I said, when 2 sounds come together, there's modification of sounds in certain cases. So sometimes in those cases, yon gets shortened to yo. But you have a completely different sound also for number 4, which is she. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you about why you have those 2 sounds once we read until 10. What is number 5?
Go.
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 Okay. Number 6.
Roku.
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 Okay. Roku. Okay.
Roku.
What is number 7?
Nana.
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 Chichi.
Nana or
Nana.
Chichi.
Chichi.
Chi.
yes. Nana or shchi.
Chichi.
Okay. Again, you have 2 sounds, right? Nana, shchi. Very different sounds. Number 8.
Hachi.
Hachi.
Hachi. Hachi. Okay. Number 9.
Q.
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 Q or
Ku.
Q
Ku.
or K. Okay. Number 10.
Ju.
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 I'm hearing a ear sound. It's not Jew, right? It's just Jew,
Chu.
Ju.
right? G and a small u is simply Jew. Sha, shu, sho, cha, chu, cho, ja, ju, jo. Simply these sounds. Okay, there's no Y sound to any of these. Okay, Jew. So if you can remember from 1 to 10, then you can easily remember until 20, and then easily that will extend until 100. Okay, so let's try and memorize number 1 to 10, numbers 1 to 10 now. Okay, that is what we're going to do. So we will actually memorize it. You're not keeping this for another day. So the reasons you have 2 sounds for numbers 4, 7, and 9. Okay, initially 4 was she. Number 4 was she initially, but the kanji for she, right? If you remember what I said about kanji, kanji has meaning. So the kanji, I'm going to just use this box to denote a kanji. So that kanji, it has certain characters and it has a meaning. The way you read that kanji is she, okay, not the number 4. There was one particular kanji and it meant death. 4 doesn't mean death, but this was a different kanji with the reading she. You look at that kanji and you read it as she, but it had the meaning death. And since that is not a very nice thing to keep thinking about, right? She meant death. So the sound she came to mean that. It brought to mind the idea of death all the time. So they decided not to. They're very superstitious. The Japanese are a superstitious culture. They have that. So they decided to bring about a new sound, a new completely unrelated sound. And that's how you got yon. Okay? But it's not to say that she doesn't exist anymore. To this day, she is also used to refer to number 4. So now it's just become more complicated with 2 sounds instead of 1. Okay, so both she and yon exist. In certain cases, when you say numbers, you can be using numbers for a lot of things. You can be using numbers to count a lot of things, to talk about the dates, right? To talk about the year. So to talk about price. So in some cases, you will use the sound she for number 4. In some other cases, you will use yon. I will tell you when and all of that later. As we see it, I will explain it. Similarly, number 7, right? It was shchi. And shichi sounds a lot like another number, which is shchi, shi, ichi, right? Shchi, ichi. And also when you say shichi, when you say it fast, the shi tends to get shortened. So you don't say shichi. When you listen to a Japanese say it, they say shchi, shchi. They just, say sh and chi because they're speaking fast. So to avoid confusion, right? If somebody says, please come at shichi ji, that is 7 o'clock, then you should not land up at 1 o'clock. So to avoid that confusion, they came up with a completely different sound again, which is nana. So once again, both shichi and nana are in use. Just like 4, she and yon. Here, shichi and nana, they are both in use. So you have to remember both the sounds. So coming to 9, ku. Once again, it's a kanji story. There was a kanji with the reading ku. And so the sound ku meant suffering. So they came to associate that sound with suffering. So these are negative words, negative things to think about. So therefore, they came up with a different sound. They changed it slightly and made it Q instead of K. Once again, they both exist. Okay, K is also used, Q is also used. That's where you see it here. That's where you also see it in your textbook. So these are the reasons why you have more than one sound to some numbers. Now we are going to try and remember all of them. 1, I would like all of you to repeat quickly. 1.
Ichi.
Ichi.
2.
Ni.
Ni.
3.
San.
San.
Okay. 4.
Yon.
Yon.
Yon. Okay,
Yon.
go with yon. Go with yon. But remember, she is also there. 5.
Go.
Go.
Go. 6.
Roku.
Roku. 7.
Nana.
Nana. Okay. Go with Nana. Remember, she is also there. 8.
Hachi.
Hachi. Hachi. 9.
Q.
Q. 10.
Ju.
Ju. Repeat again correctly. Ju.
Ju.
Ju. Okay. Okay. Now again, we're going to be doing this exercise. Try and register it. Okay. Repeat after me. Ichi.
Ichi.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Yon.
Yon.
Go.
Go.
Roku.
Roku.
Nana.
Nana.
Hachi.
Hachi.
Q.
Q.
Ju.
Ju.
Once more. Ichi.
Ichi.
Ni.
Ni. San.
Yon.
Yon.
Go.
Go.
Roku.
Roku.
Nana. Hachi.
Hachi.
Q.
Q.
Ju.
Ju.
Let's look at numbers 1, 2, 3. What is number 1?
Ichi.
Ichi. 2.
Ni.
3.
San.
Okay. 1.
Ichi.
2.
Ni.
3.
San.
Ichi. Ni. San. Right? Once more. Ichi.
Ichi.
Ni,
Ni. San.
san,
San.
san. Okay. Now 4 to 6. What is 4?
Yon.
Yon. 5?
Go.
Go. 6?
Roku.
Roku. Okay, once more. 4?
Yon.
5?
Go.
Go. 6?
Roku.
Okay. Roku. Roku. Okay. Hi, once more. Yon.
Yon.
Go.
Go.
Roku. Once more. Yon.
Yon.
Go.
Roku.
Roku. Hi. Roku. Not Roko. It's Roku. 1 to 6. What is 1?
Ichi.
Ni.
San.
Yon.
Go.
Roku. Okay. Now what is 7?
Nana.
Nana. 8?
Hachi.
9?
Q.
Q. 10?
Ju.
Ju. 7?
Nana.
Nana. 8?
Hachi.
9?
Q.
10?
Ju.
Ju. Okay. Nana.
Nana.
Hachi.
Hachi.
Ju.
Q.
Nana.
Hachi.
Q.
Ju.
Ju.
Q.
Let's say all the numbers from 1 to 10. Okay. Ichi. Ni.
Ni.
San. Yon.
Go.
Roku. Nana. Hachi. Q. Ju. Can you try saying this without looking into your books or the screen? Close your eyes and say it maybe. Okay, let's try. How much ever you can. Number 1.
Ichi.
San.
Yon. Go. Roku.
Hachi.
Ju.
Very good. Very good. Once more for reinforcement. Okay, this is the only way to do this. Because it's just memorizing. There's no meaning to it, no logic to it, no reasoning to it, nothing. Right? It's just memorizing. So once more, 1 to 10. Last time. Hi.
Ichi.
Ni.
San.
Yon.
Roku. Nana.
Hachi.
Q.
Ju. Okay. Keep learning this. We'll come back to the rest of the numbers later. Okay, I can do until 100 if you give me 10 more minutes, but I'll stop with this for now because I want to go ahead with lesson 1. Okay, we'll come back to this maybe beginning of lesson 2. All right, but please do keep reading this, keep learning the numbers from 1 to 10. All right. Now, back to your textbook, under the numbers, under your Suji, you have a list of words, right? These are the things that you will find after each lesson. So what are the things that you'll find in each lesson? What is it that you'll be learning in each lesson? You have lesson 1 to lesson 20. So the first one, again, each of these are written inside that greater than, less than symbols. Those are brackets, so please do be careful. The words written inside is kotoba. Okay, we looked at the word kotoba, which means word, right? Vocabulary word.
The first
Yes,
word is
the very
kotoba.
first. Yes, the meaning of it is words. Okay, the second one, can you all read the second one?
Yogen.
Hyogen.
Hyogen.
Okay, hyogen. Hyo, he and a small yo is hyo, that's one sound. To elongate that, you add after it. Hyogen is important expressions. Like in the last class at the end, we saw a few expressions. How do you say excuse me? How do you say I'm sorry to be rude? Right? How do you say once more, please? We looked at all of those. Those are all expressions. In this situation, what do you say? What is the expression? What is the phrase that you use? These can be one-word phrases, two-word phrases, 3 words, phrases, 4 important expressions. So in each lesson, you will see something new. And the next one is a step up. It's like development. The meaning of this word that you have is, you have ha, syllabic stop, te and in. So together, how do you read it?
Hatten.
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 Hatten. The meaning of hatten is development. So you learn a little bit of grammar in lesson 1, and then you will see a little bit more. You keep adding to the grammar. From there, you build more and more and more, and you learn. You keep learning, right? 20 lessons of Japanese grammar. So there's always a step up from the previous lesson, something new that you've learned in the new lesson. And then finally, what's important is practice. Hi.
Renshu.
Yes,
Renshu.
Renshu is
Renshu.
practice. So after all of this, at the end of every lesson, you have Renshu, just a few questions. And after Renshu, you also have a separate exercise. So I would like you all to do both Renshu and exercise. If time permits, that's a big if. If time permits, after the lesson, I will do the Renshu in class and ask you to do the exercise. If I'm not able to do the Renshu, then you will have to do both Renshu and exercise by yourselves. And we will discuss them in class. I'll ask you if you have doubts, all of that. And these are exercises that you'll also be typing answers to in your student profile and submitting after each lesson. It'll just take 10, 15 minutes, the maximum. If you spend that time, you'll see it'll go a long way. You'll be so ready for the next class. It'll prepare you like nothing else. That's enough. You don't need extra material, nothing. Just those few minutes of time dedicate to the exercises is based on what you have done in class is enough. Okay? All right. So let's get to the lesson. Before that, on page number 7, just before your lesson, you have characters. Now, it's a pretty long word. Once again, you have the brackets. Don't read them. What is given inside the bracket? It's a pretty long word. Can you try and read them?
Tojo Junbutsu.
Jinbutsu. I hope this is not a mirror image. Tojo Jinbutsu. To, elongation. Jo, elongation. Ji, in, butsu. They're separate sounds. They'll have a lot of voiced sounds, right? Tojo Jinbutsu translates to characters. Characters of a novel, characters in any text, characters in a play, in a movie. Tojo Jinbutsu. So what are the characters? What are the names that you can read on the top? Hi.
The first one is Tanaka.
Tanaka, very good. Suzuki, okay. And Hayashi.
Hayashi.
Hi, Tanaka, Suzuki, Hayashi. Of course, Tanaka-san, Suzuki-san, Hayashi-san, always. Okay, but these are the characters. The characters
One
at the
doubt, one
bottom.
doubt.
Hi,
Why are you adding a sen after every name?
san, it is san.
San,
Sa-
what's that mean?
San is a suffix you use for respect, right? That's what I was telling everybody about. You'll always refer to one another, not just by the name, but name and san. That is being respectful in Japanese. Regardless of gender, age, doesn't matter. If you're speaking to somebody younger than you, or a child even children, their name and san. You have other alternate suffixes also for children. We'll talk about that later, but san is a sort of a very general thing that you attach to a person's name.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Hi. At the bottom, what are the 3 characters?
Ashok.
Ashok.
Devi.
Oh, at the end, yes, you have Devi. Who's the one in the middle?
Raja.
Raja. Raja. Ra, G and a small ya, Ja, not
Ja.
Ja. There is no ya, right?
Raja.
Ja. Raja. Okay. So what is the difference that you see in how their names are written?
Katakana.
The bottom
Katakana.
Katakana and hiragana.
Right? The Japanese names are written in hiragana because they actually have meanings. Tanaka means something. Suzuki means something. Hayashi means a forest. Forest in Japanese is Hayashi. Usually you will find Japanese surnames have to do with nature. Okay. And the Indian names like Ashok, Raja, Devi are all written in katakana because they are not Japanese, right? They are foreign. Okay. So they are also Ashok-san, Raja-san, Devi-san. Hi. Now finally, let's get to the lesson. Let me share my screen. Hi. I will be saying a lot of things. Initially, since we're all thinking in English, you might also try to understand whatever I'm saying in English. You might try to translate all of the Japanese sentences in English to see if it makes sense to you. That is the natural common tendency. But I'll advise you, while you have that tendency, keep it on hold. Okay? Try to control yourselves, because then it will not make sense. Because Japanese grammar is very different from English grammar. That's what you're going to see right away. Okay, how they are different and how we must not make the mistake of trying to compare it and try to make sense with English. In fact, I would say use your mother tongue to try and translate. That will make more sense with Japanese than using English. But in English, in class, I'll be using English because it is the common language, right? That's what we all understand. Okay, so this is the basic difference. In English, a simple sentence like this: Raja is reading a book. Okay, so you have Raja, who's the subject in this sentence. I'm just saying subject, object, verb just to make you understand. If you don't understand any of this, it's okay. Because I remember in English grammar class, I never liked it when they used these words. It was always complicated for me. Raja is reading a book. Okay, so you have the subject coming first and the verb. A verb is an action word. So the verb comes after it. And then finally, at the end of a sentence, you have the object. Object is something that the action is being acted on. So if you ask the question, Raja is reading what? Then you get the answer, object, the book, which is the object. It's what the action, what is acted on is the object in a sentence. In Japanese, the same sentence reads this way. Don't worry about it. Let me just read it. Raja-san ga hon o yondeimasu. Okay. So you see how Raja's name alone is written in katakana. The san is a very Japanese idea. The suffix san is a Japanese idea. It's a Japanese suffix, a concept. So that is written in hiragana, although it is attached to a name. The name alone is written in katakana. And then you have the rest of the things. Hon is object and yondeimasu is the action word or the verb. And in between all of this, you have certain kana. So you see how the sentence itself is very different. In English, it is SVO, right? Subject, verb, object. In Japanese, it is SOV, subject, object, and then the verb. So if there is a verb in the sentence in Japanese, you just have to look at the end of the sentence. That is where the verb will always appear. Okay, this is why if you use Google Translate, it's a disaster. I think these days it's much better than it used to be earlier on. The sentence will never make sense in English or Japanese if you try to translate from one language to the other. Okay, it's because of this. But like I said, now it's better. So you have these words. You don't have space in Japanese. They're all written continuously. Okay, so as you keep practicing, you learn to understand that this is the end of the word. That is the end of that word. But again, that will only come with a little bit of practice. You need to get used to the language, right? So it's actually like this. If I were to give space, it's like that. Raja-san ga hon o yondeimasu. Okay, the very first grammar. Very first. In Japanese, you have words. Okay, all of these words cannot function independently. In a sentence, you put together words to make a sentence. But all of these words will have to be held together by something called connectors. These words have to be held together or connected by these things called connectors in Japanese. Connectors are also called particles or markers. I'll be using the word particles in class. Okay? Particles or markers. Okay, so you have these orange things. Those are words. This is just a demonstration. Okay, so these words will not make sense in a sentence without these green particles. Those are what connect the sentences to make meaningful sentences. So that's what we're going to be starting off with. We're going to, if you want to make sentences, you need to know what comes after the first word, right? After the first word, you need a particle before the second word. And after the second word, you need a particle before the third word in order to frame a good, meaningful sentence. So the very first particle, we know some words. Some words we already know. If you looked at my vocabulary document that I shared, maybe you know a few more words if you manage to learn. Let me see. What is the word for I, everyone? I.
Watashi.
Watashi. What is the word for you?
Anato.
Ana. Ana.
Ta. Anata.
Anata. Watashi, anata. These are very basic words. The first words that you learn in any language. I, you. Watashi, anata. Okay. So after that, if you have to say something, you need to know some grammar. So those are particles. The very first particle that we will be seeing in this lesson. Okay. There are about 3 that we will be doing in this lesson. The first one, particle number 1. What is this kana? Ha. It is the kana ha. Okay. But there's something very important about this. As a kana, this is pronounced as ha. But when this functions as a particle, the pronunciation of this particular kana changes. It is wa. It is not ha anymore. Okay. So where will this kana appear as a kana? It will appear as a kana in a word. Inside a word, if you have this kana, then it is treated as a kana. But between words, right? Like I said, after a word, between 2 words, if you have this particular kana, then that functions as a particle in that case, and you will read it as va. What exactly is this particle va? So remember, when you look at this, you should always think about how it's appearing. Right now, we are talking about this as a particle. So I will be reading this kana as va. Okay, please keep in mind this particular kana, since we are going to be seeing how it behaves as a particle, I will be referring to it as va. So associate that sound with this kana in your minds. Okay. So what does this particular kana mark? What kind of a particle is it? It is a topic marker. In Japanese, you have this idea of a topic. It's not too complicated, although we've never studied that in our languages. It's kind of easy to understand. Okay. In a sentence, you don't always have all of this in a sentence, but in a sentence, you have a topic. Okay. Under the topic, you have a subject, object, and verb. The subject, object, and verb comes under the topic. All right. So, for instance, when I walk into class, let me give you an example to understand this. Our very first class, I'm facing all of you and you're all waiting to hear from me. Who is she? Right? So I begin by saying, as for me, so Shimizu sensei did the introduction and then she handed over the class to me, right? And then I started off and I said, whatever I said, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. My name is this, and I'm going to be your teacher, and on and on. So when I say I am, what am I talking about? What is the topic in my sentence?
You,
I.
I is the topic. So when I'm talking to you all about me, I am the topic of my sentence. And then from there, I can talk about, as for me, my Japanese is at this level. As for me, my graduation was in this particular degree. As for me, the place that I live in is here, and so on. So under the topic I, I can choose to talk about the subjects, my Japanese skill, my degree, the place that I live, maybe my family, and so on. So those are all the subjects. So you see, under the topic I choose to talk about whatever, elaborate it. Maybe there's an object in a sentence, maybe there's a verb in a sentence. I studied at this college, or I worked at this place, I lived, I am living, all of this. So you see how the subject, object, verb comes under a topic in a sentence. This is just to explain that. In Japanese, the topic will always be marked by the topic marker, wa. When I say marked by, what do I mean? Followed by. If there is a topic in a sentence, after the topic, I will have the particle wa.
Like watashi wa.
Correct. Marked means followed by. When somebody says mark my words, it means, listen to me carefully, follow what I am saying carefully. Mark, to follow. It comes after. Particles will always come after. Markers will always come after. They mark. Okay. So after the topic in a sentence, you will have the topic marker. What is the topic marker? Everyone?
Va.
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 When you pronounce va, this is the kana that should come to your mind. All right. There's also one rule in Japanese. Try to remember it if you can. Slowly, you will no longer have the need to remember it because it will come naturally. But since this is the first class, the rule is that if the topic and the subject is the same in Japanese, if the topic and the subject is the same, then the subject will not be seen in the Japanese sentence. Okay? So in this case, if the topic and the subject were the same, let me give it the same color, okay? Then you will not find the subject appear in the Japanese sentence. Only the topic will be seen and then the rest of the things, rest of whatever is talked about. Okay? Since they are the same, it will be repetitive, it will be redundant. You're saying the same thing again and again. Why? So only the topic. The subject is not talked about. You will not mention the same thing as a subject and talk about it. So this is a rule. Now let's talk with examples. The very first sentence. Hi.
Could you please give me example? I mean,
Yes,
it
please
became a little bit
do.
confusing.
You
Okay.
have to wait until I finish my explanation
okay.
because my explanation won't end until I finish the whole thing.
Okay.
Afterwards, I'll
Okay.
ask you for your doubts.
Okay.
Hi. So I am Devi. It's a very basic sentence, right? So when I introduce myself to you all, I say I am Kritika. I'm talking about me. So when I say I am Devi, let's try, because you have this concept of a topic marker in Japanese, which is absent when we learned our languages. So we'll try and rephrase every sentence in terms of the topic for better understanding initially. Okay. So a sentence like I am Devi, if Devi is introducing herself, I am Devi, can be rephrased as for me, I am Devi, right? So I'm establishing the topic in my English sentence also. As for me, I am Devi. So in this sentence, as for me, so me is the topic. And then I proceed to say, I am Devi. So I is the subject. Is the topic and the subject the same?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Right? Me is the same as I. As for me, I am Devi. So since the topic and the subject are the same, the subject will not be seen in the Japanese sentence. So you will see that the I will not be repeated again. The sentence will be, as for me, am Devi. Okay, and this is that sentence. What is the word for I or me in Japanese?
Watashi.
Watashi. Watashi is the topic in this sentence, so it will be marked by the topic marker wa. Alright? So this reads Watashi wa.
Wa.
Now I'm going to highlight this separately because you have to remember watashi is a separate word. Wa is simply a particle that you attach to the word. It is not part of the word. Okay? That will have to be clear. It's just a particle. Watashi wa debi desu. Can I have everybody repeat this sentence after me, please? Watashi wa debi desu.
Devi desu.
Watashi wa debi desu.
Shiva Devi Desu.
Hi,
Watashiwa
arigato.
Devi Desu.
Yes. Okay.
Ma'am,
So
I have a
watashi,
doubt. Should I keep it for the end or stay it now?
yes, I would say keep it for the end. I will just finish the initial explanation and then I'll ask you for your question because a good
Okay.
chance is that I might answer it soon.
Okay.
Hi. Alright, because it's not done yet. So watashi wa debi desu. Alright, you can all include your names in place of debi. I've written debi in English because I can add katakana. Right now, I want you to focus more on understanding the grammar than trying to read the kana. Alright, that's why I've used debi here. This won't happen in the subsequent classes, just for now. So watashi wa debi desu. Now you'll ask me what this is. We'll come to that. Alright, what is it that desu means? Why is it there at the end of a sentence? So, there are three kinds of basic sentences in Japanese, right? Not just Japanese, any kind of sentence. They are positive sentence, a negative sentence, and an interrogative sentence. A positive sentence is something that ends positively. A negative sentence is something that has negative meaning. Interrogative is question. You're asking somebody a question. So let's look at some examples of a positive sentence and also try to understand what desu is. Desu in the sentence, watashi wa debi desu. Desu is something that comes at the end of a positive sentence. In Japanese, if there is a positive sentence, desu will appear at the end of it. So what are the meanings that it can possibly take? It's very difficult to translate in our language again because it doesn't exist. So we can try to give it meanings to make sense of it. So if it comes at the end of a positive sentence, then it can take the meanings is, am, are. As a verb, it is to be. Okay, for instance, a sentence is like this. I am a student. Is this a positive sentence or not?
Positive
It
sentence.
is.
It's a positive sentence. I am a student. If I say I am not a student, that is a negative sentence. Similarly, she is a teacher. Okay, they are football players. They're all positive sentences. That is showed by the words am, is, are. Right? So desu can take all of these meanings. I am, she is, they are, we are, you are. Okay? So that's what desu means. So let's look at some examples now. I am a student is a sentence. Initially, you might struggle to try and translate it. When I am the speaker, I am speaking this sentence and I say, I am a student. What is the topic in the sentence? What am I talking about?
I.
Who am I talking about? I'm talking about I. I'm talking
I.
about me. Okay, so let's rephrase this in terms of the topic in English to understand. I am a student, or as for me, I am a student. Okay, so in this sentence, me is the topic, I is the subject, but since the topic and the subject are the same, you will not repeat that in the sentence. Okay, so as for me, I'm a student. The am is the desu. Student, what is the word for student in Japanese?
Get. Guide.
Gakusei.
Gakusei.
Right, gakusei. Sensei is teacher, gakusei is student. So, hi, can I have everybody read this sentence, please?
Watashi wa
Watashi wa
Gakusei
desu.
desu.
Deshu.
Desu.
Desu.
Watashi wa gakusei desu. Watashi wa gakusei desu. Right now you can say desu, right? You can pronounce all the kana properly, correctly and say gakusei desu. All right. So here, if suppose you were to include the subject also in the sentence, which is also I, which is also watashi, it will be watashi wa watashi ga, because ga is a subject marker, which we will be doing only in our 4th lesson. So I don't want you to worry about this at all. Okay. But watashi remains the same. That means I. Here it appears as a topic with the topic marker wa. Here it appears as a subject with the subject marker ga. So you see how it is repeated twice. Watashi wa, watashi ga gakusei desu. Doesn't make sense. In Japanese, anything that you don't have to say, you don't say. In Japanese, you hold back a lot. You don't speak unnecessarily. Things that both the speaker and the listener will understand, you will not find it in the conversation. Because both of them understand what it is. Both of them know what it is. So they don't have the need to talk about it. Of course, at this stage, it all sounds very abstract and vague, right? Once you see examples, you'll understand. But here, again, since it's repetitive, it's redundant, you will not find it in your Japanese sentence. That's the reason why. It's the same. Why repeat it? So let me erase this altogether. Watashi wa gakusei desu. Let's look at some examples at the end of which you can ask me your questions. Okay. So next sentence, I am a teacher is the actual sentence, but let's always try and rephrase in terms of the topic. We need to understand. You can also think like this. I am a teacher. Now, when a speaker says this sentence, suppose I am the speaker and I say this sentence. What am I talking about? Or who am I talking about? I'm talking about me. I'm talking about I. So I is the topic. Okay. So as for me, I am a teacher. Can I have everybody not just read the sentence, but try to understand that sentence while you read it, please?
Watashi wa
Watashi wa
sensei
sensei
desu.
desu.
Shiva, sensei, this.
This.
Yes. Okay. So the first 2 things about your introduction is taken care of. So the first thing that invariably anybody says is your name. I am, for instance, let me take Siddharth-san. Right? So how do you say I am Siddharth? Yes, everybody can help him.
Watashi wa
Watashi wa
Siddharth
Siddharth
desu.
desu. Watashi wa Siddharth desu. I am Siddharth. Right? Also, another thing I know, I'm sure you all know, when you talk about your own names, you won't use the suffix son. It's always respect for the other person, not for oneself. So your names, it's just your name. No son with your name. And the second thing that you will say is your profession, what you do. You're a teacher, you're a student, you're a whatever, you're an actor, you're a doctor, whatever it is. That also follows the same sentence structure. I am a doctor. I am a teacher. I am a university student, whatever. So here in this case, I am a teacher will be watashi wa sensei desu. Very basic. Let's look at the next sentence. Raja is a student is the sentence. What is the topic in this sentence? Suppose I say Raja is a student. What is the topic of my sentence? What am I talking to you about?
Raja.
Raja. I'm talking now about Raja, Raja-san. So my topic changes from I to Raja-san. Okay. So your sentence will begin with the topic. So how will it begin?
Raja-san
Raja-san
Wa
wa
gakusei desu.
gakusei desu.
Gakusei.
Yes.
Gakusei.
All right. Raja-san wa gakusei desu.
desu.
So here the topic changes. You're talking about somebody else being a student. Raja-san wa gakusei desu. All right. Now next, let's look at different kinds of sentences with different topics and different new words. What is the word for India?
Indo.
Indo.
Indo. Right? Now, there is a suffix. Okay, I'll talk about it. The sentence is, Devi is an Indian. Let me write that here. Devi is an Indian. So when I say this, what is the topic of my sentence in this case?
Devi.
Devi.
Devi. Right, Devi. So what will my sentence begin with?
Devi san va
Devi
Indo.
Hi.
Sam.
Hi, Devi Samba is an
Indo.
Indian. So Indo is written in katakana, and next to it you see this word. What is this word? Jin.
Jin.
Now, Jin is a suffix once again. Jin is used with names of country, okay, such as Indo-Jin, France Jin. What else did we see? America Jin. England is Igiris. So Igiris Jin. So you use Jin after a name of a country to talk about the nationality of a person. So Indo-Jin is Indian. France Jin is French, a French person. Okay. An English person is Igiris Jin. An American is America Jin. Okay. So in this sentence, when you say Devi is an Indian, it is Devi-san wa Indo-Jin desu. Okay, once again, can I have everybody read this sentence with full understanding?
Devi-san wa
Indo-Jin
Indo-Jin
desu.
Indo-Jin desu. Okay. Now, last sentence. Okay, the last sentence. As for you, you're an adult, which is to say you are an adult. Now, when I say this sentence, always imagine these things in situations, in context. Imagine there's a speaker, there's a listener. How is the conversation going? So imagine that you're saying this sentence. So when you're saying you are an adult to somebody else, what is the topic of your sentence? Who are you
You.
talking about?
You.
Okay.
Anata.
So here,
Anata.
your sentence will begin with Anata. Very good. Anata followed by the topic marker, definitely. So, what is the sentence like? Can you read this?
Anatava.
Hi.
Oton-
O,
Otona
otona,
Otona
desu.
des.
Otona desu.
Anata wa otona desu. You are an adult. The word otona means adult. So you see, there's already new vocabulary here. You learned what jin is, now you know what otona is. You can include all of this. Make a note of all of this, include it to your vocabulary, learn them, practice using them. Anata wa otona desu. So do you understand? This is a very, very basic sentence with just one particle and the concept of desu. Desu behaves like an equal to. If you're aware of linguistics, I think the linguistic term for, if you want to look it up, I'm telling you, it's not very important information, but the term for it is copula. It equates one with another. So what des does here is, desu does here. Equal to, right? So it equates watashi with gakusei. And it says, watashi equal to gakusei. I am student. Positive. Correct. I equal gakusei. Right? I equal student. That is the function of the desu. All right. So, any questions so far? Rima-san had a question. Victor-san had a question. Is it okay? Shall I keep
Yes.
continuing?
Daijoubu
Yes.
desu. Arigatou
Okay.
gozaimasu.
Hi. Okay. So now I thought I'll just give you an example of a sentence. This is way ahead actually, but I'm sure all of you are thinking about maybe your questions are not completely resolved. What if there's a subject in a sentence? What if the topic and the subject is different? If the topic and the subject in the sentence is same, then you don't see the subject in your sentence. But if the topic and the subject are different, then you will see the topic and the subject in your sentence. So an example of that will be, this is a very it's an example I always use. Suppose we're all in conversation. Don't think too much about this. I'm just explaining it for now. We're all talking about maybe you went to have dinner outside last night, somebody. and they say, Saravana Bhavan. I went to Saravana Bhavan. I hope you all know what Saravana Bhavan is. It's a restaurant in India.
In Delhi also they have chains.
Yeah, there are chains
Yes.
everywhere. Hi. So as for Saravana Bhavan, so when you begin your sentence with Saravana Bhavan, the topic becomes Saravana Bhavan. Okay? And then somebody says, oh, Saravana Bhavan dosa. Somebody says Saravana Bhavan idli, their sambar, their coffee, the location of this new branch, their price, their sweets. So under the topic Saravana Bhavan, you choose to talk about the different subjects like coffee, tea, whatever, dosa, idli, and all of that. And then proceed to talk more about it. So that's where Saravana Bhavan is the topic. Okay. And if you talk about dosa, that becomes the subject under the topic. The dosa is delicious or the dosa is expensive, whatever you want to talk about. So in this case, is the topic and the subject the same or different?
Different.
Different. Yes, the subject comes under the topic. So it's different. Therefore, you will see both Saravana Bhavan in your sentence and the dosa. Okay, so that sentence will look like this. Saravana Bhavan va, topic, dosaga. You see how dosa is written in katakana. Saravana Bhavan will also be written in katakana. I haven't inputted that. So, Saravana Bhavan va, dosaga oishi desu. What is oishi?
Delicious.
Delicious. Remember? Hi.
Delicious.
Yeah.
So, oishi desu is tasty. Positive sentence. Is tasty. Anyway, we don't have to worry about this too much until lesson 4. This is just to explain to you. All right. Until lesson 4, you will be looking at sentences without subject. You'll only be looking at topic. So from this, let's go a little bit to something else, a new particle. So the very first particle that we saw is the topic marker va, right? In a sentence, if you have a topic, you mark that with the topic marker va. Now the second particle you're going to be looking at is, what is this, Kana?
No.
Try again.
No.
Yeah, same row, but different sound, right? No. This is the particle no. So I'm not going to write it down. I'm not going to say N-O. No. Remember it. Okay? So no has related functions. It's almost similar. And thankfully, as a kana also it is no. As a particle also you pronounce it as no. So here there's no confusion. So one function of this particle is, it is a possession marker. What is a possession marker? So there's a pen. I want to say this pen belongs to me. So in English, I say this is my pen. I'm talking about possession. It belongs to me. I possess it. In a classroom, if there is a dictionary on the table, and somebody says that is Tanaka Sensei's dictionary. Tanaka Sensei. Miss Tanaka, the teacher. It's Tanaka Sensei's dictionary. So there you're talking about that book belonging to Tanaka Sensei. It is her possession. So how do you talk about possession in Japanese? You use this particle no. So let's see with some examples. What is I?
Watashi.
Watashi. Okay. What do you think my will be?
Watashi.
Watashi?
No, watashi, no.
Watashi no. If I is watashi, then my, when I say my, I'm saying it's mine, it belongs to me. It is my book, right? This book belongs to me. So the particle always comes after. The marker that you will use with watashi will be watashi no. So here, watashi no kaban translates to my bag. Watashi no kaban, my bag. So that is this particle. Possession marker. It's like using your apostrophe S. Okay. Let's look at this example. Your name. What is you in Japanese? Hi. Anata. Anata is you. Correct. The word for name is, can you all read this please?
Namae.
Namae. Namae. Namae. It sounds very similar to name itself, right? Namae. Okay. So your name will be. Hi, please read this.
Anata no namai.
Anata no namai.
No, namai.
Hi, anata no namae. Watashi no kaban. Kaban is bag. Watashi no kaban. Anata no namae. Okay, next. Tanaka sensei's book. So here you see the apostrophe S. So no is exactly apostrophe S. So in place of the apostrophe S, you add no. Tanaka sensei's book will be
Tanaka sensei
Tanaka
no.
sensei no
hon. Hon.
Tanaka
Hon.
sensei no hon.
Very good. So 3 new words here, right? Tanaka sensei no hon. Tanaka sensei's book. Actually, there's supposed to be no space between any of this. It's supposed to be continuous. But initially, you will find that I will include space. Even your textbook will have space because otherwise it can get pretty difficult to read, right? You need to understand what you're reading first. Watashi no kaban, anata no namae, Tanaka sensei no hon. Now, the next purpose or function of the particle no, it's almost the same, slightly different. It is a modifier. No, one function is it's a possession marker, right? Apostrophe S. My, your, all that. The second function, it has another function, which is it is a noun modifier. It changes nouns. Nouns are names, places, things, objects. These are all nouns, right? So, no can also change nouns. It also has the meaning of off in it. Off. So, let's look at this. How does it appear in a sentence? You have noun 1, some noun 1, and then you have no, and then noun 2, another noun. You have one noun, no, and another noun. So between 2 different nouns, you have the particle no. And what does this no do? So this no gives the second noun the quality of the first noun. Okay. I will give you examples. So this no gives the second noun the quality of the first noun. For instance, I say I am a teacher. Okay. Now I could be a math teacher. I could be an English teacher. I could be a Japanese teacher. I could be an art teacher. I could be anything. Okay. But I am a Japanese language teacher. It's true for me. So this is noun 2. What kind of a teacher am I? What subject teacher am I? I am a Japanese language teacher. So when the no comes between Japanese and teacher, this no gives this noun, teacher, the quality of being a Japanese language teacher. It modifies this noun by giving it this quality. Do you understand? Let's look at some examples. Tanaka is a Japanese language teacher. Now let's go back to basic a little bit. How do you say Tanaka is a teacher? Don't look at this. Translate my sentence. Tanaka is a teacher. Let me rephrase this. Okay, let's all...
Sensei desu.
Tanaka-san wa sensei.
Tanaka-san wa sensei desu.
Very good. Okay. Okay. My sentence is Tanaka is a teacher. As for Tanaka, she is a teacher. So, sentence begins with the topic Tanaka-san. So,
San.
Tanaka-san wa
wa
sensei
sensei
desu.
desu.
I hope everybody is following. Tanaka-san wa sensei desu. Now, a step up, a development to the sentence, right? You're including more details in the sentence. That's where the particle no comes into play. You don't want to say she's a teacher. You want to say she's a Japanese language teacher. So Japanese language, the word for Japanese language, please remember it as Nihongo. Nihongo. Okay. Can I have everybody repeat after me, please? Nihongo.
Nihongo. Nihongo.
Right,
Nihongo.
Nihongo. So this is your noun 1. Sensei is your noun 2. So this no comes between Nihongo and sensei, gives sensei the quality of Japanese. That is the best that you can explain this, right? So let's read this sentence together, please. Everybody.
Tanaka-san
Tanaka-san wa
Tanaka-san wa
Hi.
Nihongo no sensei
sensei
desu.
desu.
sensei desu.
Yes. Tanaka-san wa Nihongo no sensei desu. Tanaka-san wa, I have written sensei here because once you know somebody is a teacher, they're always sensei. It's like, even if they come and teach one class, the next time you see them or throughout your life, they will be called, they'll be addressed as sensei. It's a very, very strong sentiment in this culture. So, Tanaka-san wa sensei wa Nihongo no sensei. Nihongo followed by the particle no. Particles are important, we can't ignore it. Nihongo no sensei and desu comes at the end of a positive sentence. Let's look at the last example before we go to the other two in the front. So I told you this also takes the meaning of. In English, sometimes you translate it as of. For instance, I am a student of Hayakawa. Okay, I'm a student of Hayakawa. I'm Hayakawa's student. It's like that, right? So I'm a student. Student of what? Student of which school? Hayakawa no gakusei desu. Not a student of any other Japanese language. I'm a student of Hayakawa. That is my quality. That is the student's quality, right? So this no gives the student the quality of being associated with Hayakawa, the Hayakawa quality.
Could you please explain that once more?
Yes. So here you have the noun gakusei. So this no gives the second noun gakusei the quality of being Hayakawa's student. It gets this quality. We are not a student of any other Japanese language school. Okay, and or you're not saying you're not a student of math or you're not a student of science. Specifically, you're a student of Hayakawa. So, watashi wa Hayakawa no gakusei desu. Okay. That way, in English, where you have a student of. All right. Was there a break in my voice in between? Yeah, is my audio clear? Break?
It's breaking.
Yeah.
Now it's fine?
Clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's look at the next sentence here. Raja is my friend. Raja is my friend. Here it doesn't mean Raja belongs to me. It's not possession here. He is a friend of mine. So how will you say that sentence? What is friend in Japanese?
Tomodachi.
Tomodachi. Very good. Can I have everybody repeat this together, please? Tomodachi.
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 Yes. Tomodachi is hi. Tomodachi is friend. So what will this sentence be? Raja is my friend. As for Raja, he is my friend. Can you all try and do this on your own? You can look at the sentence there for reference. But can you also try?
Raja-san wa watashi ma
Hi.
no tomodachi deshu.
Very good. Correct. Raja-san wa watashi no tomodachi desu. Raja-san wa my friend desu. Watashi no tomodachi desu. Next sentence. Devi is Raja's friend. Different combinations I'm giving you. Replace the same structure with different words. Devi is Raja's friend. So what
Devi
is the
Sanva.
topic in this sentence? Devi San. Very good.
Devi Sanva.
Devi Sanva.
Devi Sanva, Raja Sanno,
Hi.
Tomodachi desu.
Yes. Devi San is Raja San's friend. So Devi Sanva. As for Devi San, Devi Sanva, Raja San no tomodachi desu. Raja San no tomodachi desu. All right. So these are all positive sentences ending with this. So initially you saw sentences with just the topic. Now there's a step up, like I said, and you're also using no in the same sentence. The same sentence where there's a topic and you also use the possession marker or you use this noun modifier to talk about more details. All right. Now let's look at the second type of sentence, which is a negative sentence. Sentences that end negatively. I am not a student. You are not a doctor. They are not football players. Not, is not, am not, they are not, we are not, you are not, all of that. So a negative sentence ends with right now, you just have to remember this. This will become clearer to you maybe in your 9th lesson. But for now, I want you all to repeat after me twice and remember this. I have split this word into 2. Let's say it together. Deva arimasen.
Deva
Deva
Arimasen.
Deva
Hi.
arimasen.
Yes, once more. Deva arimasen.
Deva
Arimasen.
Hi. So here, this is actually 2 particles coming together. De is a particle. This, if you noticed, I pronounced it as va. So it is a particle. Deva. Deva arimasen. Actually, it is one, I would like you to think of it as one word like that. But since that is a particle, I split it. Deva arimasen. Well, I'm going to put it back together. Deva arimasen. So in place of this, if the sentence ends with Deva arimasen, it's a negative sentence. So let's look at this. I am not a student. Let's rephrase in terms of the topic. As for me. So that means your sentence starts with Watashi wa. Me, I am the topic. Not a student. So hi, what does that sentence look like? Can you all read that, please?
Watashi wa
Shiva,
Gakuse Deva Arimasan.
Perfect. Watashi wa gakuse desu is positive. Watashi wa gakuse deva arimasen. If it helps, maybe shake your head when you say it. So it registers. Deva arimasen. No, I'm not. Okay. Watashi wa gakuse deva arimasen. Whether it is positive or whether it is negative is revealed only at the end of a sentence. Desu or deva arimasen. Okay. Watashi wa gakuse deva arimasen. Let's look at the next sentence. Now, think about this carefully. My name is not Devi. Now, I want you all to think about what is the topic of this sentence. My name is not Devi.
Name is the topic.
Just name?
My name.
My name.
My name. Yes, my name. Right? Correct. So I am talking about my name not being something. So the topic is my name. How do you say my name?
Watashi wa.
Namae wa.
Watashi wa no namae.
Watashi no. My is watashi no. I is watashi. And if it comes as a topic in a sentence, then you add wa after it. But it is just watashi. But the moment you say my, the name that belongs to me, you know, my name, then watashi becomes watashi no. So my name is watashi no namae. since the topic of the whole sentence is my name, after watashi no namae, I will include the topic marker wa. This whole thing is the topic. Watashi no namae, the whole thing is the topic of my sentence. So after that, I will add wa. In the previous sentences, I am, right? I am a teacher, I am a student, I am Kritika, I am Devi, I am Raja's friend. Now I'm saying my name is or is not. So, watashi no namae. So, no comes before the topic itself. So, after that, you'll have the topic marker wa, and then you proceed to say not Devi. How do you say not Devi? Devi, Deva
Devi
arimasen.
Deva Arimasen.
Alright, so I'll say this sentence again once more, and I would like you all to say it after me with understanding. Watashi no namae wa Devi Deva arimasen. Not. Yes, please.
Watashi no
Watashi
namae wa
Watashi
Devi
namae
Deva Arimasen.
Devi
Deva Arimasan.
Hi, Deva arimasen. Correct. Alright, now last sentence. Here, Tanaka is not my friend. Okay. In the previous sentence, my came in the first part of the sentence, in the topic part of the sentence. Here, my is coming in the latter part of the sentence, towards the end. What is the topic in this sentence?
Tanaka.
Tanaka-san. In this sentence, I'm talking only about Tanaka, and then I'm proceeding to say that she is not my friend. Okay. So, that sentence, can you all try it on your own? As for Tanaka-san, she is not my friend. Now let's look at my friend. How do you say my friend? Let's go in steps. What is I?
Watashi.
Watashi is I. So how do you say
Watashi.
my?
Watashi no.
Very
Watashi.
good. Watashi no. No, friend is tomodachi. So the phrase my friend is watashi no tomodachi. The phrase my name will be watashi no namae. Okay. So here, what will the sentence be now? As for Tanaka, she is not my friend. Your sentence will begin with the topic
Tanaka.
Tanaka-san.
Tanaka-san wa. I have not expanded on the name, doesn't matter. Tanaka-san wa.
Tanaka-san wa
Tanwa watachi no
Watashi no
Watashi no
Tomodachi.
Tomodachi
Deva
Arimasen.
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 Tanaka-san wa watashi no tomodachi de wa arimasen. Okay, so that is how you do negative sentence. The important thing is it ends with deva arimasen. All right. Now the last type of sentence is interrogative. How do you ask a question? This is quite simple. So in Japanese, in English, you have the question marker, right? At the end of a question, you use a question marker. In Japanese, you do not have a question marker, a symbol like this. Instead, you use a particle. And that particle is ka. Ka behaves like a question marker. So you will see all the sentences in Japanese end with full stop. Positive, negative, doesn't matter, it ends with full stop. And that full stop is not a dot, it is a circle. That is the punctuation, Japanese punctuation, all right? And the other thing is Japanese does not have a question mark. At the end of a sentence, in place of the question mark, you will have this particle ka, which behaves like a question mark. And after ka, you will have a dot, which we don't do in English, right? After a question mark, you don't put a dot. But in Japanese, after the question marker ka, there is a dot. So if a sentence ends with ka, it is a question. It's an interrogative sentence. So let's look at some examples now. Now this sentence, anata wa gakusei desu. What does it translate to? Anata wa gakusei desu. What does it translate to?
You are a student.
Yes. As for you, you are a student. As for you, anata wa are a student. Gakusei desu. Okay. Now the same thing, you can switch it to a question by simply adding a ka at the end of it. Can you all read this sentence, please?
Natawa gakusei desu.
Desu ka?
Desu.
Desu ka? Okay, you see how ka comes at the end? It's a question marker and then there's a full stop also after it. Anata wa gakusei desu ka? The important thing here is the intonation. Voice has to go up like you're asking a question. You can't speak plainly. It's a question. You're inquiring. Anata wa gakusei desu ka? Very important. Okay, intonation is important. So the ka makes it a question. Without the ka, what happens? It becomes a positive sentence.
Yeah, it becomes
With desu. Hi. Okay, so you are will become are you with the ka. Okay, anata wa gakusei desu is a positive sentence. It means you are a student, and that can become a question. Are you a student? With anata wa gakusei desu ka? Ka. So you see how it behaves very differently. It's not like English at all. In English, you are becomes are you and other things. In Japanese, it's just a particle at the end of a sentence. So that is why I said we must not compare English with Japanese to try and understand the grammar. All right, it works differently. So the response to this question can be either in positive or negative. Somebody asks you a question, anata wa gakusei desu ka? You can either say, yes, I am a student, or no, I am not a student. Now, I would like all of you to tell me, yes, I am a student in Japanese. What is the word for
Watashi.
yes?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Very
Hi.
good. Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Watashi wa
Watashi wa
Watashi wa
Watashi wa gakusei
gakusei
Desu.
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 Very good. Very good. Now, if you have to say, no, I'm not a student, you will begin your sentence with no.
Yeah.
Ye
Ie. Very good.
Ie.
Ie.
Watashi wa
Watashi wa gakusei
gakusei deva
deva
arimasen.
arimasen. Okay. Ie. Watashi wa gakusei deva arimasen. All right. Okay. Now, the question word. You have a lot of question words. Since we are talking about questions, interrogative sentences, questions. You have lots of question words like what, why, where, which, when, how. You have all of this. So slowly over the period of this course, so the next 2 months, you will learn different question words, slowly. In this class, you're going to be learning what the word is for the question word what. What in Japanese is actually nani. Nani. Nani means what? Okay. Just stand alone. If somebody looks at you and says what, just that word what is nani, nani. Okay. But if it comes in a sentence, what is it? What is it? Will be nan desu ka? Nan desu ka? What is it? Nan desu ka? Alright, the ni gets shortened because it is attached to other sounds. So ni becomes shortened. You don't finish the ni, you stop it with in. Okay, nan desu ka? Can you all repeat after me? Nan desu ka?
Nan desu ka?
Nan desu ka?
Hi. You use this expression in a lot of cases. For instance, if you have to ask somebody's name. Now we know how to say your own names. You can say, I am so and so desu. Watashi wa Kritika desu. You can all do that. So how do you ask somebody their name? What is the question? Okay. What is your name? Now again, I want you all to think about what is the topic in this sentence. That is, I'm inquiring, I'm asking somebody. What is the topic of my inquiry? What am I asking about? What is your
Their
name?
His name.
Namai.
Name.
Your name. Your name is the topic, isn't it? Your name. I want to know what your name is. That is the topic of my inquiry. Now, how do you say your? What is you in Japanese?
Anata.
Anata. Anata. How do you say your?
Anatano.
Anatano.
Anatano. Anatano. Now, how do you say your name?
Tano
Anatano
Namae.
Namae.
watashi.
Anatano namae. Namae is name.
Name.
Namae. Okay. So now in the sentence, as for your name, what is it? Anatano namae will be
Namae
followed
wa.
by the topic number, topic marker wa. All right. And then the sentence continues. Can you all read this sentence?
Natano Namae wa Nandeska.
Very good. Nan desu ka? Ka is the question mark. So, anata no namae wa, this whole thing is the topic. It's a topic of my inquiry. Anata no namae wa, topic followed by marker, and then what is it? As for your name, what is it? Nan desu ka? Nan desu ka? Anata no namae wa nan desu ka? All right. So that is all for the first lesson, the main grammar. There are just two more things I would like to look at before we go to the lesson. I was talking to you about honorific particle when we did elongation, I think, when I told you about words like oka-san and oba-san. Now we all know that san comes at the end of somebody's name as a mark of respect, right? But what is the O? There are certain words in Japanese which has a cultural significance. It's very important in their culture. Those words are treated with extra respect. So those words will precede. At the beginning of those words, you will have either O or go. Some words will begin with O, some other words will begin with go. For now, we're only going to be looking at some words like you can see on the screen that begin with O. The go honorific will come later, some other class. So let's look at the second word. I'll come to the first one later. Lunchbox in Japanese, in Japan is given a lot of importance. If you are used to, if you've been seeing any Japanese media like anime or anything, you'll find that they take great pains to present food very well. First of all,
Yes.
it's very, it's very appealing that way to the person who's eating your food. They take great pains to make an elaborate dish and then serve it very well in a way that is appealing to the person who eats. That's the love and the respect that they show to both the food and to the person who's going to eat it. So it's very important. Like you see the picture here on the side, it's taken from an anime. So it's done. For kids, it's done even more very adorably. Like there are probably arranged like panda bears and things like that, small things. So lunchbox has a lot of importance because it contains food. Okay. What is lunchbox in Japanese? We looked at this word, bento. So you will always find that it is prefixed at the start with the honorific particle o. So it's obento. Obento. All right. The next is rice grains. Rice is a staple. It's a Japanese staple. Much like in South India, we eat rice. So here also rice is very important. In fact, for breakfast, they eat rice. For dinner, for lunch, rice is part of the meal. So rice grains, not cooked rice, but rice grains are kome. And so that is also referred to with utmost respect is the okome. Okome. All right. The other thing is sake. I don't know if anybody's tried this. Sake refers to the Japanese wine. It's made out of rice. So the sake culture also is very big out here. So since that is so much a part of the Japanese culture, that is also prefixed with the honorific o, osake. Osake, it's the Japanese rice wine. Money, of course, we all know. Kane is money. Kane. But you will find that it is always prefixed with okane. It's prefixed with o, and so it reads okane. All right. And lastly, your job. I say your job specifically. Job in Japanese is shigoto. All right. Job is shigoto in Japanese. But once again, there are certain things that you will give respect to if it's the other person's, not your own. Like you don't attach san to your own names. It's only for other person's name. Similarly, other person's job, you treat it with respect in conversation and say oshigoto. Okay? Oshigoto will always refer to the other person. Maybe the listener, the person you're talking to, their job, or somebody else, a third person's job. Oshigoto. Okay? And also, anata no namae, your name, right? Anata no namae. What is your name in Japanese, everyone? I repeat.
Anata no namae.
Yes.
Anata wa
Anata no namae.
Namae.
Your.
Namae.
Okay.
Right? This is your name, the name that you have that belongs to you. Your name. Anata no namae. So in Japanese, I think we are also quite familiar with this. It's not very respectful to say you all the time. In English, you don't have a choice. In, I think, our languages, you have a respectful way to say you and a plain, normal way to say you. In Tamil, for instance, you say ni for your peers and for those younger to you, and neenga for those who are older to you if you have to be respectful. I'm sure in Hindi, you have something like that as well, right? So in English, you don't. You is you for everybody, right? Saying anatta, looking at somebody and saying anatta is not very respectful. It's so direct. I told you, I don't know if I mentioned, in Japanese, indirect is respectful. You have to be as indirect as possible. Okay? If you're very direct, that is why you don't do a lot of hand gestures while speaking in Japanese. You don't do a lot of mouth movements when you're speaking in Japanese, because all of that is not respectful. So saying anata also to somebody is not very respectful. Okay. So if you want to say, you want to ask somebody their name, we learned that you say anata no namae wa nan desu ka? What other choice do we have? How else can you say that, right? You say anata no namae. But that is where this honorific particle comes to the rescue. Instead of saying anata no namae, you take the word namae and give it the honorific particle at the start. Onamae. Since you will not refer to your own name as onamae, you will refer to the other person's name as onamae. So it can also mean your name, depending on the context. Onamae wa nan desu ka? So that's the better way to say this. Anata no namae wa nan desu ka? A better way to say that will be, a more respectful way to say that will be, onamae wa nan desu ka? Oh, okay. Can't get rid of the highlight, but hi. O namae wa nan desu ka? So what does this sentence translate to? Everyone?
What is your
What
name?
is your name?
What is your name? O namae translates to your name. Always, only for the other person. Just like oshigoto refers to the other person's job, not your own. Hi, okay. Some culturally relevant terms. Now this, I told you about the suffix jin that we use after a name of a country to talk about somebody's nationality. Hi, I'm sorry, this comes here. Okay, so America jin means American. France jin, French. Deutsch, Germany is Deutsch. Germany is Deutsch. So Deutsch jin refers to a German. Igirisi is England. Igirisi jin is an Englishman, an English person. China, if you see, China is written using hiragana or katakana?
Hiragana.
Hiragana. Why is that? Because
Hiragana.
can you read that word for China?
Chu. No.
Chu, correct.
Chugoku.
Chugoku, very good. Chugoku. Chu is middle and Goku is country. So the Japanese way of referring to China is calling it middle country. Chugoku. So it's a very Japanese word for China. Translates to middle country. Chugoku is China. So Chugoku Jin is a Chinese person. And what is India? India we know is Indo. So Indo-Jin.
Jin.
Indo-Jin is Indian. Finally, Japan. They have a word for their own country, that is Nihon. Nihon is Japan.
Jin.
Yes, we'll understand why, what is Nihon and why Nihon when you do kanji. But until then, just remember Nihon is Japan. So Nihon Jin is a Japanese person. So Jin is a suffix that you use after name of a country to talk about the nationality. You have another suffix go that you will use after the name of a country or a language to refer to the language spoken in that country. Okay. So America, what is the language spoken? English. English in Japanese is eigo. Can I have everybody say this, please? Eigo.
Eigo.
Eigo. A is elongated with the E. So it's eigo. Hi. And then you have Furansugo. Furansugo is French language. Furansu-jin is a French person. Furansugo is French language. Deutsch-go is German language. Eigo is English. Chugoku-go is Chinese language. Chugoku-jin is Chinese person. Chugoku-go is Chinese language. Can you have an Indo-go? Does it make sense to say Indo-go? In India, we have so many languages, right? So Indo-go refers to what exactly? It makes no sense. So whatever the languages, here, for example, I have written, what is this in katakana? Tamil. Tamil is Tamil. Okay. The Tamil language, for instance, will be Tamil-go, Hindi-go, okay, and so on. Telugu-go, whatever. So you take the name of the language, say it in Japanese, and then add go, so the Japanese know it is a language. So Chugoku is written in hiragana because it is a Japanese name. Similarly, eigo has a Japanese meaning. The meaning of A is British. It's the language of the Brits, okay? That is how English is eigo. So that is also written in hiragana. The rest of the country, France, Deutsch, Indo, Igirisi, they're all written in katakana. All right, so these are the things that is important here. Tanaka Sensei's Jiko Shokai. Let's just read this. Just read, I won't do any explanation. We'll just read this and then call it a day. We'll continue with the the dialogue and the lesson in your next class. Hi, can I have everybody read this title? What does this say? Tanaka?
Sensei, no.
Sensei, no.
No.
No. Jiko?
Chico, Jo,
Jiko.
Shokai.
Jiko Sho.
Jiko shokai. Jiko means self. Let me give a space maybe. There is no space, but just for your understanding. Jiko is self, shokai is introduction. So Tanaka sensei no, Tanaka sensei's apostrophe S. Okay, Tanaka sensei no jiko shokai. Here it is a particle. So can we all read these few sentences? What's the first one? This is quotes, by the way, what you see. At the top here and at the end here, this is in quotes. These are quotes in Japanese. This L, that inverted L and this L. So this is what Tanaka sensei says. Let's read together. Hajime mashite. Hajime mashite. What is hajime masu?
To begin with.
To begin, right? This is the phrase I was talking about that comes from that word. I'll explain what this is in the next class. Next sentence. Watashi no namae wa Tanaka desu. Yes, watashi no namae wa Tanaka desu. Next sentence.
Watashi wa
Nihon
Nihonjin.
Nihonjin desu.
desu.
Okay, I hope you're able to understand these two sentences. Next sentence.
Watashi
wa sensei desu.
Sensei desu.
Next sentence.
Watashi wa Nihon no sensei desu.
Sensei desu. Very elaborate introduction, split in many sentences because it's very basic, right? Last sentence. Let's read what is in the bracket also. Let me remove that. Hi. Dozo.
Yoroshiku.
Yoroshiku.
Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu. Dozo. Yoroshiku. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Okay. All right. Very good. I will explain all of this. This comes in your lessons. I'll explain all of this in the next class on Friday. So keep working on your hiragana, start working on your katakana, don't leave it. Like you can see a lot of katakana words here and there. It's not a lot, but they still make an appearance. So you have to be able to read them. Try reading the first lesson on your own. That is your homework. Along with your kana practice, try reading the first lesson. And if you feel up to it, try to do the renshu part of it as well. Okay, come extra prepared to class on Friday. So it can be easy. We can go ahead with the next quickly. If you have any questions, please post it. I will create a folder saying lesson 1. So you can post your questions there. All right. So by the end of this week, I would like all of you to be 100% thorough with hiragana. And about 80% of katakana, is that too much? Let's say 60% of katakana. By the end of next week, you'll be 100% with katakana. Have these short-term goals. It will help you. All right. Hi, any questions? I'm sorry, it's a few minutes past the time.
Ma'am, please do. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Kritika-san, for today's class, we learned many words, right?
We learned many words, yes.
Yeah, many words, yeah. Can you write in English with that word?
I can,
It is
but
possible,
then
yeah.
I can, but then that will mean that you will not be, it will be difficult for you to read it by yourselves. And you'll always keep depending on the English word.
Yeah.
That is why I purposely don't do that in classes.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I will say it. So if you want to make a note of it, do make a note of it. Although I don't recommend that.
Yeah.
Either. That is why I want you to learn your because if I start that, then there'll be no stop to it. So I don't want you to get used to that. Despite
Okay.
that, if you think it's too difficult, let me know next class.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
I
Okay, so
will write it. Hi. Hi, Victor San had a question.
Yeah, ma'am, just a quick reminder to please upload that link for me
Yes, Victor.
for the video.
I will
Arigato
do that.
gozaimasu.
Yes, I will. Hi, I will do that now. Hi. The rest of you, if you have not submitted your work, I know who has not submitted your work. So please do submit them. All right, start doing them. Participate in Google Classroom, so you'll get my comments and you can make changes to it. Hi, so we'll call it a day for today.
Yeah, arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou
はい、ありがとう
gozaimasu.
ございます。ありがとうございました。お疲れ様でした。はい、
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。